Recording in progress.
Finally, good morning. Welcome back. I'm Kim Roberts, as you all probably know, but some of you don't, so that's who I am. And I'm your worship associate this morning, and my pronouns are she and her. And I think it's okay to take the mask off now, right up front? Okay. So it's really good to see you all here today, and those of you in your little boxes that unfortunately I can't see yet, but that's going to be happening. In a couple of weeks, we'll all be able to see each other, and that will be wonderful. We come together to share in life's meaning, to grow in care and community, and open our hearts and minds to the sacred truth known by many names. Whatever your heritage, however your history, and whomever you love, you are welcome here. And if you're here with us for the first time, we are especially glad that you decided to join us today. Please feel free to sign our virtual guest book or our regular guest book out in the hallway. There's a link in the chat for the virtual guest book for those of you at home. It's completely safe, and we would love to help you on your spiritual journey. And if you're visiting us today, would you like to introduce yourself so that we can welcome you? Anybody here who's a visitor?
Well, may I introduce Lisa Hickett?
Yes.
For anyone who has not met her. I didn't warn her. She is one of the 11 people who joined during Zoom when Andy and I.
Oh, that's so great. Welcome into the sanctuary. It's really good to have you here this morning. And hopefully all the others will be coming in shortly in the next couple weeks. And we have an announcement this morning, and that would be from Hazel. So Hazel, if you're ready.
The nominating committee council is pleased to announce that the following people have been. Hang on one second, please. I'm so sorry. Is that microphone not on?
It is now. There you go.
Okay, I'll start again. The nominating council is pleased to announce that the following people have been proposed to serve in a leadership capacity on our board for 2022-23. President Mark Davis. Mark, would you stand up, please? Vice President Shauna Brinkerhoff, and I don't think I've seen Shauna. No? Recording Secretary David Callan. David, would you stand up, please? And Corresponding Secretary Barbara Bowman. I don't believe Barbara's here. Oh, no, she's not. Okay. These are all for one-year terms. Then, for three-year terms, we are proposing Member-at-Large Susan Canos. Susan? And Nominating Council Cindy Curry. And I don't believe I've seen Cindy this morning. These people have agreed to fulfill their terms of office. Treasurer Dick Calvert has 1 year left. Dick, I know you're here. I saw you. There you are. Member-at-Large Ami Silberman has 1 year left. Member-at-Large Kathleen Mader has 2 years left on her term. Nominating Council Renee Varela has 1 year left on his term, and Nominating Council Beth Woodroy has 2 years left on her term. We are confident that these people will move our congregation forward as we start a new fiscal year in May, and we are especially grateful for their willingness to serve. However, at the annual meeting in April, you will have the opportunity to nominate others for the offices, should you choose, and a vote will be held at that time. And this is respectfully submitted by Renee Varela, Beth Woodroy, and myself.
Thank you, Hazel. And thank you all. And we offer our gratitude to everybody who worked incredibly hard to get this service pulled together today. It took a ton of work. We were here yesterday all day. So thank you to our Great tech team. Love you all.
Bravo.
There you go.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. You've been so kind and generous. I don't know how you keep on giving. For your kindness, I'm in debt to you. For your selflessness, my admiration. For everything you've done, you know I'm bound to thank you for it. Na 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 You've been so kind and generous. I don't know how you keep on giving. For your kindness, I'm in debt to you. And I never could have come this far without you. For everything you've done, you know I'm bound to thank you for it. Na 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 Oh, I want to thank you for so many gifts you gave. To love, the tenderness. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your generosity. The love and honesty that you gave to me. I want to thank you. Show my gratitude, my love, my respect for you. I want to thank you. Oh, I want to thank you, 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 la 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 la. Na 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 na, la 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 la.
Woo, thank you. Oh, buenos días, mi familia. Buenos días. Me encanta oír eso. I love to hear that. Good day, welcome, 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 welcome. I'm the Reverend María, UT McCabe, and it is a particular joy this morning to welcome you on Zoom and welcome you here in the sanctuary. This day has long been coming, and I hope, as Kim said, it will soon be a beginning to even greater openings for us to be together, however we are most comfortable being together. Before I move into the rest of my introduction for today's service, I'd like to ask you all to stay after the service, whether you're on Zoom or here in the sanctuary, for a brief presentation that Mark Davis is going to share with us about the Stewardship Drive, explaining what it's all about and how it's going to go. So I invite you to stay for that. It's going to be hard for me to get through this service without getting emotional, so you'll just bear with me, if you would, please. This land that our fellowship stands on is the land of the ancestral peoples of the Susquehannock. So I invite us this morning to honor that land as we are here and honor that heritage. I would also like to light 3 candles this morning before we get to the candles of sharing. The first candle is for the people of Ukraine and for the people of Russia. The Russian leader has, as you know, initiated another move of insane conquest without the support of his people, or clearly the people of Ukraine. It might seem to many of us that this is very far away, and in some ways it is. But the Carpathian Mountains that are subject now to the invasion of Mr. Putin and his generals also come into a part of the world where many, many of the people are Unitarian, and that is Transylvania. Our sisters, our siblings, and our brothers in Unitarian churches are suffering and afraid, having been subject to these imperial moves for many, 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 many years. So I ask us first that we see this candle throughout our service as a candle of prayer and solidarity with the peoples of Ukraine and the many, many people in Russia who have no interest whatsoever in conquest or death. I also want to light a candle for each of our 2 beloveds who lost their lives during this pandemic. And as we are here together this morning, I invite us also to remember in love and sorrow Alex Callan and Sarah Morton. Just like Sarah, that candle will stay lit. Alex and Sarah, we miss you. We love you. In this place, you will always be remembered and held. Blessed be. Welcome to this hour of worship, beloveds. Welcome to this hour of worship. Today is Inspiration Sunday. This is a time, very special time for us here in the UU Fellowship of Harford County, as every Sunday is special. Because this is the place, again, wherever you are, out in the intertubes, as my kids tell me, or here in the sanctuary. This is the space that we make sacred together, with our questions, our certainties, our gifts, our talents, our generosity, and our hearts. So I'm going to turn to the well-loved words of Rebecca Harper, the Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker, who says, "Choose to bless the world." Some of these words are going to be very familiar to many of you. She says, "Your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, can be used to bless or curse the world. The mind's power, the strength of the hands, the reaches of the heart, the gift of speaking, listening, imagining, seeing, waiting. Any of these can serve to feed the hungry, bind up wounds, welcome the stranger, and praise what is sacred. For this beauty and this rage, choice to bless the world can take you into solitude, to search for the sources of power and grace, native wisdom, healing, and liberation. More, the choice will draw you into community. The heritage, the endeavor shared, the heritage passed on, the companionship of struggle, the importance of keeping faith, the life of ritual and praise, the comfort of human friendship, the company of earth, the chorus of life welcoming you. None of us can alone save the world. Together, that is another possibility waiting. Beloveds, welcome home. Welcome to worship. Kim, would you help us light our chalices this morning, please?
Yes. The chalice, as a symbol of Unitarian Universalism, arose as a beacon of hope in an atmosphere of tyranny. The chalice arose as a sign of promise that the marginalized would neither be forgotten nor ignored because they are beloved and precious from the perspective of the holy. This morning, we remember all of the people who have been told explicitly or implicitly through police violence or government policy, through derision or dehumanization, that they're anything less than whole, anything less than beloved. As we each light a chalice in our homes, may we make of our lives a beacon, a symbol of our promises to draw the circle wide, a sign that we will not rest until all means all. And our opening hymn this morning is hymn number 1018, Come and Go With Me. Brenna?
Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jen Blosser. I'm your Director of Faith Formation. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. And this is my first morning ever in the sanctuary. So I want to introduce you all today to Hop Fix. Everybody say, ooh. Ah. OMG. So Hop Fix is one of the four guardians of the different houses, the four houses of the Unitarian University of Wizarding Arts, which is so many syllables. And last year, UUFHC spearheaded creating we get to say, international virtual summer camp term of what is affectionately termed as UWA, because the Univalerian University of Wizarding Arts is too long. So we had congregations involved from Florida to Washington State, and even in Canada as well, doing this summer camp program. We had so many students. We had students that weren't even attached to congregations last year. We had the student from St. Martin even. It was amazing. Because this program has been slowly evolving year after year until it has basically become like a week intensive of UU theology, but with wizard hats, which is perhaps the most fun way to study UU theology. So I just would love you all to soak up how magical last year was and what a big deal it is that we were able to facilitate this incredible program. So yay, give yourselves a round of applause because it was phenomenal. But moreover, guess what we get to do this summer, Friends of the Forest? This summer, we get to, somebody knock on wood while I say this, please. Thank you. This summer, we get to transform the hallowed halls of UUFHC entirely and welcome Hopfix and the other 3 guardians and create the Univalerian University of Wizarding Arts right here on the fellowship property, where everyone will be able to participate in this incredible program in person, and we will get to play with potions again, and we will get to maybe make some things explode. It's fun, it's fine, and it has to do with UU theology, I promise. So I am so looking forward to announcing this, and if you check your worship enrichment packet, I have something really special in there. You will find a link to a documentary, a little video I made about a previous year of the camp program. So if you're curious and you're just like, what is this all about? It sounds really magical. You will be able to see it for yourselves. So thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here with you this morning, and talk to me about it after service if you are curious, please. Be well all.
It sounds
Recording in progress.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Martina Kuzensky, and my pronouns are she and her. There are 3 reasons why I picked UUFHC as my fellowship home. It is an environment that welcomes people regardless of sexual orientation and gender identity. The fellowship's care for social justice, and I wanted a place where I would not be judged for interracial love. In 2014, I realized I'm bisexual, and knowing that many Christians see same-gender love as a sin, I was curious to know if other churches, besides Episcopal churches, were LGBT-friendly. That's how I discovered Unitarian Universalist churches. UUFHC is the nearest UU church from where I was living at the time and where I was living now, so here I am. I meant to start coming to this church in 2015, after my grandmother told me to find a church that was a better fit for me than the one I grew up in. But my dad had to have surgery, and my mom and I were the only people other than the home health nurses who could take care of him during his recovery. It wasn't until 2018 when my husband, who was just my boyfriend at the time, and I attended our first sermon, which was Sandy's Lord of the Rings sermon. What especially made me want to find a Unitarian Universalist church was their care for social justice. Throughout the past 6 years, I started being more outspoken about social injustices. My ex-boyfriend didn't like that. The internet uses the term social justice warrior to try to silence those who seek justice and call out hate. I wanted an environment where I could speak out and take action. Hosting this Friday's Disability Day of Mourning Vigil with Reverend Maria is one way I have been given the opportunity to speak up and take action. If I were to take my husband to an all-black church, we would get the same reaction as if my husband were to take me to an all-white church. Stares because it would be obvious that one of us is an outsider. Stares because we're traitors to our race. Loving someone who isn't of your race isn't illegal anymore. Welcome me with open arms instead of stares of disapproval. Making a stewardship pledge means that UUFHC remains a home for people who want to make a meaningful difference, no matter their age and no matter how small the difference. Making a pledge means that there is one more space for an LGBT person to live and express themselves safely. Pledging to keep this congregation going means we can all act upon the phrase we say every Sunday morning, "You are welcome here." We take care of the homes we live in, so we should take care of our fellowship homes as well. Kim, would you help us with the words of the offering, please?
Thank you, Martina. Friends, we can't offer our ministries of community care, pastoral care, and social justice without your support at a time when the voice of a vibrant and progressive religious tradition is more needed than ever. Your financial support is needed more than ever before, too. And we've made it easy for you to share your generosity. And right now, I believe a link is going up in the chat for those of you at home, so you can share right now securely by that credit card or get our address if you prefer to send a check. And our address is uufhc.net. And I want to thank each and every one of you for your support. There has never been a greater need for progressive, loving, inclusive religious community. And as you give it home, Jen and I will be going around with baskets this morning. Thank you.
This is the sound of one voice, one spirit, one voice, sound of one who makes a choice. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of voices too. Sound of me singing with you, helping each other to make it through. This is the sound of voices true. This is the sound of voices true. This is the sound of voices three, singing together in harmony, surrendering to the mystery. This is the sound of voices three. This is the sound of voices three. This is the sound of all of us, singing with love and will to trust. Leave the rest behind and we'll turn to dust. This is the sound of all of us. This is the sound of all of This is the sound of one voice, one people, one voice, a song for every one of us. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of one voice.
So beautiful. Thank you to all the choir members who made that beautiful video. Thank you, Brenna, and Will for helping to facilitate it. I'd like to share a reading this morning from someone who many of you know is one of my favorite human beings and ministers on the planet, the Reverend Marta Valentín. And this is called Knows No Bounds. You must live and breathe. It must be the first thought in the morning and the last at night when twilight descends. It must be what you search for in the darkness, the light that leads you to find who you are, where you are, what you are. It is understood already that you should die for it. But would you be willing to be born again for it? Change your cells for it? If you were dying of thirst, it would be your only drink of water, the one liquid to quench your thirst, sate your parched soul, resuscitate your empty lungs. In the dead of winter, it will be your fire, your blanket, scarf, and hat. In the desert, it would be your mirage and oasis, and even when you don't want it, can't stand it, despise it, it will come looking for you, haunt you, track you down, beg your attention and your love. For the purpose that you were blessed with knows no bounds. Only that if you are not paying attention, you will be lost until it finds you, until you heed its call and be who and what you were meant to be. The purpose that you are blessed with knows no bounds, knows no limitations. Lynn Twist is a white woman who was traveling quickly up the ladder of what we call success with her husband. Both of them were employed by a very large, very trendy corporation, global corporation. They were each making, I was going to say obscene, but only because I don't make that much, but they were making huge salaries. They had nannies, they had servants, they had boats, they had wine cellars, they had vacation homes and exotic places to visit. And in the midst of this success, Lynn began to recognize that something was tugging at her heart. Like Reverend Marta says, that if you're not paying attention, it will hunt you down. So something was tugging at her heart and at her spirit, and this move for the success we all learned to crave felt very hollow. And when she heard about an organization called the Hunger Project, which is a global organization that seeks to eradicate hunger by empowering the peoples of the world rather than, just bringing food, which is of course really important, but this too is incredibly important. And when she heard about the Hunger Project, she just, again, felt that voice, that call. When you hear it, when you know there's something you're supposed to do, and maybe you really don't want to or aren't ready yet, but you will or should. So she did. And so she went to work for the Hunger Project, and she traveled to Bangladesh and worked with a community that, like many communities in the country, had lost hope, and where the men were ready to move away to find work. And she worked with that community until they discovered a way to grow crops on land that they had never tilled before. And she went to Senegal, and she went to many places in the world. She went to India. And then she decided to become a fundraiser for the Hunger Project. She had stories to tell and experiences to share. She had met Mother Teresa. She had seen so much. She had stories to tell, and her stories and her heart were compelling. So she's in these early stages of being a fundraiser, and she gets a call to come and do a fundraiser at a church, for a group of church women in Harlem, in the Harlem neighborhood of New York City. And then a few weeks later, she got a call to do something on that same day, to go to the office of the CEO of one of the largest food companies on the planet, because the CEO wanted to make a donation to the Hunger Project. So she figured out that there were flights that she could make it back and forth from, Chicago to New York, and she would be okay. And then she started stressing over what to say to the CEO. And she started stressing about what she was going to wear. That ever happened to you? So she picked out a very fancy silk dress, and she got on the plane to Chicago, and she got to this giant tower, and she said who she was, and she tells about how there was not just one bank of elevators, there were like 4 that she had to, to get to the top of this gigantic building. And on every bank of elevators, she could feel her nervousness growing, which is not a good combination with a silk dress. But she made it to the top, and the closer she got to the top, the quieter it got, and the more opulent it got. And by the time she got to this man's office, a white man's office, she was really terrified. They told her, you only have 15 minutes. And so behind his desk, there was the skyline, this beautiful window, and the skyline of Chicago, everything behind. But he was backlit, so she couldn't really see his face. And so she talked for 15 minutes about the communities she'd visited and the work that the Hunger Project was doing, and the ways of working as partners with people who ask for help to empower and change the trajectory of despair. And she talked for 15 minutes, and she says he didn't really seem to be paying attention. And she asked if he had any questions, and he said no, and he reached into a drawer and pulled out a check that had already been written out for $50,000. She felt uncomfortable. But who doesn't take a check for $50,000? So she put it in her briefcase, and besides, she had another flight to catch, so she rushed to the airport. She got on the flight, and as she was going down those banks of elevators and went to the airport, she felt a pit in her stomach. She felt as though, and this is in her words, she felt as though the company, which had a public relations nightmare and around their food, and so this was a way, right, making a big donation to a hunger project, it's a way that corporations, fix their image. And she felt that she had been given with that check and that she was being asked to hold the guilt of the corporation. She made her way to the church in Harlem and walked into a room. I don't remember what she said, whether there were 50 or 100 women. She was the only white woman in the room. And she felt uncomfortable again. She looked around and thought to herself, well, these are women who don't have much to give. How can I make a fundraising pitch? Now, I've been in churches where what I'm about to describe happens. It was pouring rain outside, and there were leaks all over this room. And there were buckets under the leaks, so you could hear like the water bing, bing on the buckets, right? She felt self-conscious about her silk dress. But she told stories. She told stories of being in Senegal, where the women in a particular community had been telling the men, if we dig, we have had visions. If we dig, there is a lake underneath. We know that our wells have run dry. We know that it feels that we can't live here anymore, but we have had a vision. Let us dig. And the men said, no, that's not women's work. We can't let you do that. And then when the folks from the Hunger Project came, they talked about it and they said, yes, okay, what can we lose? And the women dug and they found an underground lake. She told stories about how this community is now thriving. And she told stories of other places where the Hunger Project works. And when it came to making the fundraising pitch, her mouth went dry. She didn't want to ask, but she did. And then there was a long silence, or at least it felt really long to her. And as she was holding her breath, a woman got up from the back of the room and came up to her and gave her a big hug and said, my name is Gertrude. I don't have a checking account. I don't have a lot of money. She said, money is like water in my life. For some people, that water is a giant river. For me, it's more like a small trickle. But with the water I have, I want to do good. She turned to Lynn and she said, I like what you're talking about, and I like you. I earned $50 today by doing a white woman's wash, and I want to give it to you. So she gave her the $50, and Lynn took it. And one by one, all of the other women in the room came up to share in the excitement of being able to help this project. And Lynn Twist says she couldn't hold the money after a while, and it was single dollar bills, and it was $10 bills, and so she opened her briefcase and she put it on the table, and the women just put money into the briefcase. It was $500 collected. And when Lynn looked in the briefcase, she saw that $50,000 check at the bottom. And she realized that money in and of itself is nothing, but it comes with energy. It comes with the intent with which it was given. And she felt nourished and excited and compelled by the $500. And she felt almost tainted by the $50,000. And she took her briefcase home, and the next day she sent the $50,000 back to the CEO with a kind note, nothing. Later on, she tells a story about how after a period of time they reconnected and something really beautiful blossomed from that. And I won't go into that now, but if you want to read her wise and powerful counsel about our relationship with money, this is a book called The Soul of Money. Maybe somebody could put that in the chat. Lynn, Lynne Twist, The Soul of Money. That story and that experience feels to me so appropriate to share with you today as we talk together about what is it that we give? Why is it that we give? What is it that we share
when we share our $1 or $10 or $2,000 or whatever it is. I'm willing to bet that if I sat down with each and every one of you here today or on Zoom today, and I said to you, hey, tell me how you feel about how this fellowship has done with our COVID policy. I'd be willing to bet that I'd probably get wildly different answers from you, because I have already. I've gotten wildly different answers. It took too long. We're not safe enough yet. This went wrong. This went wrong. This went wrong. These, we are not clones. We have different experiences, different feelings, and different reactions. And one community cannot accommodate all of those things at the same time. We have to be working together. But what if I sat down with each and every one of you here today or joining on Zoom and said, tell me how you feel about our mission. I'm going to read it to you, because if I try to say it, I'll get something wrong. The Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Harford County welcomes all who long for a diverse and inclusive religious community. Thank you, Martina, for what you said today. Together, we nurture individual spiritual journeys and commit to living the principles of our Unitarian Universalist faith, including justice, equity, compassion, and the creation of a more peaceful and sustainable world. Our mission, our vision for the future, our honest acknowledgement whenever we are at fault, and our rejoicing when gifts like this morning happen. These are worth fighting for. These are worth giving to. These are the things that each of us carry. In one way or another, we carry them. We don't live I'll speak for myself. I don't live perfectly into our principles every day, but I yearn to. I yearn to reach all. Not for me, not because I want them to hear my voice, but because I want them to hear a life-affirming message, a vision of beloved community where we might still fight and disagree and say petty and nasty things to one another, and we might also hug one another with such joy. But we're all following along the same road. Some of us are walking, some of us are using canes, some of us are rolling, and some of us are imagining ourselves together. We have a powerful, encompassing vision that's not just for us. 100 years from now, 200 years from now, just as our ancestors had a vision 200 plus years ago of a free faith, a faith of conscience, a faith for justice, a faith that travels along with the world. We've inherited that vision. And I don't know about you, but I want every generation that comes after us to feel that there is a place where they can come in and speak about their gender identity, their racial identity, and say, this is who I am. Am I welcome here? Yes. I will say one more thing, because I know I'm taking us a little bit over, and I'm sorry, but this is something I'm really passionate about. Every single thing we do in this fellowship, every single one, meets an important human need. We're not a not-for-profit, and we're not a for-profit. We're a social profit. We build community. We build partnerships. We build ourselves. And we aim for the greater good. We can grow, my beloveds. We can grow. We can grow in spirit. We can grow in kindness. We can grow in courage. We can grow in assertiveness. We can grow into our strengths and the gifts that we are blessed with and the purpose that we are blessed with. We can, with setbacks and, all the kerfuffles that happen in church. We can grow together. And I hope that as we share the messages of this year's campaign, you will hold that in your heart. We can talk about specifics later. Just know you are deeply loved, and your love and your gifts and your purpose are deeply valued. Amen, dear ones. Ashe, and blessed be. Our closing hymn is The Power of Commitment, yes? If you want to stand up and go like this, you can.
From the light of days, remember, burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our minds and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet and call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living brings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
Thank you, Brenna. So beautiful to see you all together today. I share this blessing with you, that you may hear the voice of your deepest purpose, that you may hear it in the small actions of every day and the big actions and the big decisions, and that you may find that joy and share it here in this beloved community. And I'm going to invite us in a moment to hear our postlude from the UUFHC choir. And after that, just a quick reminder, if you hang out on Zoom, I'll stay on Zoom for Zoom fellowship, and with all of you, after the stewardship message, we'll have some time for a little fellowship. I hope I said that right. Did that make sense? I'm sure I messed it up, but whatever. Thank you for the postlude. We get to see the choir this time. Yay.
We will not stop singing. We will not stop singing. We will not stop singing till the world can sing the song, till the world can sing along. We will not stop marching. We will not stop marching. We will not stop marching till the world can hear the song, till the world can sing along. Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along. Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along. We will not stop praying. We will not stop praying. We will not stop praying till we all can get along, till the world can sing the song. We will not stop shouting. We will not stop shouting. We will not stop shouting, shouting right from wrong, till the world can sing the song. Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along. Till the world
To the tech team, to everyone here, to the worship associates, to Brenna, the choir. Mark Davis, you're up, dude. Do you want me to move my computer?